what we are about to show is what we call the live update functionality that we are experimenting with. And it's sort of hard to explain what it is, so that we wanted to show it in real life instead. Let's see. Live updates. So what live updates is, it's a model section, can be used as a starting model that holds information how to change the model itself. And the aim for this was to be able to just start a MDriven turnkey application that has been endowed with this capability by applying this model section, and then actually from within the application itself create a new class. This is new, and once you have done that, the application redesigns the auto form so that we have can create a instance of this is new object. Save that. Of course, it doesn't have any attributes, so we could add those. We can have a name, and then the auto form is regenerated. And let's add an attribute, an image, and then we can upload an image. Yeah, so then we continue with the original video. Thank you. Taking it from here, let's add a attribute for the invoice class, stating it should be a number, and we can store it as a string because that might be an alphanumeric number. Let's say that. And what happened now was that this information was interpreted, and a number attribute was added to the invoice class. So now if we were to go back to the seeker, we would see that there would be a number attribute as well in the seeker, and when we click up the invoice we can enter a number like number 1 and save that information. But of course we would like a invoice row as well. So if we were to go to add, change or remove class, we would want to create an invoice row. And let's go ahead and perform that action. And now we have a new auto form for invoice row seeker. Of course, that doesn't have any attributes or objects either. So I'm going to have an object for that and add an attribute. Let's call that item. So now we have item there. But if we go back to the invoice and add an association. So what's the target class for the association? Well, the invoice row maybe. And quite few options, but let's state it. It's many. It can be many rows. So the target class is many, and then association pointing to invoice row under the name invoice rows. It says here. So if we were to want to give it another name, we can go about that, just entering it here, and then it would say association pointing to invoice row under the name rows, and the end target name, and back from class invoice row to invoice using the name invoice, and that would be okay, I guess. So I okay that, and the logic adds the association. So now we can actually add, this is the standard auto forms logics. Now we can add new rows to our invoice, and this is like item 1, and head back and add new rows and item 2. And of course I might get the feel for wanting to add an association to a product, or have let's say I want an image on each invoice row. Of course, let's add an image to the invoice row, and choosing between the available types, image. Right, and the outer form is updated. And if we were to find an image, so this should probably be that would also be done for us. So what I guess you can imagine that we continuously update the model in the background just from the small actions that we make available in this turnkey application. But what happens in the background is also that the model that I started with, of course, if you're a newbie, you wouldn't start with a model from the first place. You would only have this initially. But suppose that you have the model open here behind. It will say that, whoa, the file has changed. Want to reload? Yeah, I want to reload. And what we will discover is that we have the invoice class and the invoice row and all the attributes and associations that we defined in the in this LiveUpdate application. So yeah, you can pretty much do modeling. It's sort of that we turn this turnkey application into a small, very small model editor, and maybe we can get new users to get a feel for what they are doing by being on the object that they want to change the class for. So if we are on a invoice and you want to associate that to a customer, maybe you can understand that you must have a customer class, and that customer class must have an attribute called name, and customer one. And if you then want to associate the two, you can add an association to the invoice, and the target class should be customer, and that should be one, but the customer could have many invoices. So then you could set customer one on this invoice. And of course, this one should state that we need to reload. And now we have the customer, we have the invoice, we have the invoice row, and yeah, I see that it did wrong here. It's 1 to 1, but I said one too many.